Okay, so we're going to start off by making the head, which is made out of tin foil. So here's my tin foil. And I'm probably going to tear off about, I'd say, let me measure actually, roughly about sort of 50 centimetres of foil. Oops. Doesn't matter if it rips in places, that's fine. And then we're just going to very slowly and carefully scrunch it, but not scrunch it tightly, just very loosely start scrunching it. So kind of into a ball, but as you can see it's very, very loose. And as I scrunch it a bit tighter, I'm going to start thinking about the features of the face. So it's a good idea with puppets to exaggerate features. So kind of I like having quite a big nose, you know, quite a big pointy chin, like with the this guy. You know, he's got like quite a big nose and a big chin, because obviously from a distance then they look more, you can see them more and they've got more character. So as I'm scrunching, I can start to see little shapes come out. So there's like a protruding bit here, which I'm going to just say is the nose. So because I've established that's my nose, either side of the nose here, so here's my nose roughly, I'm going to make little indents, which will become the eye sockets. And then I'm going to just start scrunching a bit tighter, still trying to keep this protruding bit. It's going to, I think, a bit of a snub nose shape I'm going to do. Maybe quite a sort of large kind of round chin. So here we are. It's getting a bit smaller now. And once you start to kind of get the shape, so I'm going to point this towards the camera and push in these eye sockets a bit more. It's quite hard to see with the light shining on it, but hopefully you'll start to see soon. So then I'm just going to make it tighter and tighter. And look, that nose is coming out more, which I think is great actually. So I'm starting to scrunch it more and more. And as I scrunch the nose in, I'm going to start to shape it a bit as well. And this is good because what I was kind of planning on was quite a kind of chubby face with a snub nose. And again, I'm not quite sure you can see at this stage, but that is kind of happening actually. And as I sort of keep pushing in my eye sockets, naturally this kind of cheek shape comes out where that bit's pushed in. So I'm going to keep squashing until it's nice and tight. The back of the head's a little bit flat, but that's okay because, can you see that's a bit flat there? But I don't mind that, also because this character is actually going to be kind of a queen character based on a Tudor queen, so she's going to have a headdress on. So here we are. I think I can make that even a bit tighter, and the tighter it is, obviously the smaller your head's going to get, but that's good because these are small puppets really, and obviously the tighter it is, the more solid it's going to be. So the tighter the better basically. Here we are. And I think with these tin foils, actually, it's not, I mean, it's very easy to do this, but it's quite hard to get the exact features you want. You sort of have to allow the tin foil to kind of do its own thing in a way. And as you start to scrunch your foil, you'll see that certain shapes will come out, and it's quite a good idea to kind of go with them rather than be like, you know, maybe think, oh, I wanted a, rather than be too prescribed about your shape. It's quite good to almost see what happens with the tinfoil itself and let that help you decide on the shape of the face. So here we are. I actually wanted her face to be a bit rounder than this, but as I said, I've just sort of had to go with what the tinfoil will let me do really. So can you see there's the sockets there, there's her nose there. Great, and that's brilliant. That's exactly that's kind of what I wanted really. So now the next step, it's focusing. The next step is to cover this in tiny pieces of masking tape. We're then going to paper mache on top. So I'm going to get my masking tape, and I'm just going to move my phone case out of the way. I'm going to get my masking tape and I'm going to rip it into tiny pieces and then entirely cover the face. So I've just ripped a bit off. And a good tip for this is the smaller the pieces, the better. The smaller the pieces, the more easy it will be to kind of cover details. So if you've got like the nose, smaller pieces like the nose, if you use a big bit of masking tape, then it will kind of wrinkle and it will be a bit harder to follow the shape. So I tend to go for little small pieces like this, and just press them, stick it all on, and making sure that it's pressed firmly into the recesses like that. Here we are. And as I'm going, I'm layering each bit on top of the other, so there's an overlap. So for example, where that one ends there, I'm going to very slightly overlap the next piece. This just means there's a full coverage over the tin foil. And again, I'm making quite small pieces because that just tends to work a bit better. So I'm just ripping some bits up in advance. And again, I'm just making some bits a bit smaller to get into the smaller areas. And for the back of the head, where there isn't really much detail, you can use very slightly bigger pieces, because you don't have to worry about getting into as many crevices. Okay, there we are. So that's all my head covered in masking tape. Yours might be a bit more like this colour if you've got more masking tape. But other than that, they should look hopefully quite similar.